What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kofi Kingston, aka 1/3 of the New Day. You're not gonna say it with me, sir? Yeah, come on, you better participate. Let's try it again. 1/3 of the New Day, and you are watching The Young and the Wrestlers. Ha 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 ha.
Welcome to The Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside...
I'm Mandy Pose, aka Jem.
This is our WWE Elimination Chamber special. But if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us on your podcast services, on those YouTubes. That's Tuesday mornings for your SmackDown review, Thursday mornings for your Raw. But if you want to join a wrestling conversation just like this one, head over to our social medias at facebook.com/group/thepopculturist, Twitter, Discord, Instagram. All those links are in the down below area. But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live. What else? What else other thing is on there? If you want to support us financially, hang on that one. If you want to, one thing we'd like you to do is share the conversation. If you've got friends, you've got family, you think you know what they need in their life, a good, slightly above average wrestling podcast, send The Young and the Wrestlers their way. I guarantee you they'll be impressed by the name, to say the least. And then it's good news from there. If you want to support us financially, patreon.com/thepopculturist, and our merch store at popculturist.com/shop, where you buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Jem, how are you this very special Tuesday of day of recording?
Tuesday of day of recording. Look, I'm a little bit unwell, but I'm getting over it. I think I've got a little bit of a bout of food poisoning from some Subway yesterday.
You ain't got that corona?
No, I don't have no COVID. No, other than that, I'm doing all good. How are you?
I'm well, man. I'm well. For those that follow the regular shows that we do, like the Fuck It For The Players, our PlayStation show. I was bitching about the chairs the other day. New chair on its way. Just my luck, it'll arrive tomorrow when neither me or my wife are here to sign for it. Because that's balls, but that'll probably happen. But no, I'm very excited to get a new chair. Very, very keen.
Yeah, definitely. Well overdue.
Yeah, well overdue. Yeah, spent some $1 dues. It's my wedding anniversary this week, so I guess I'm like, that's it, I guess. What have I got my wife? Absolutely nothing. But I'll work out something.
You got yourself a new chair.
Yeah, I let you buy me a chair. No, I'll get her something lovely. I always do. But as we said at the start of the show, this is our Elimination Chamber results, review, impressions, where we'll go through it match by match. And we'll talk about the stories, how they progressed, whether they progressed at all, or there any sort of swerves, changes as we head into the home stretch to Wrestlemania.
The road to
Wrestlemania.
Saying what weird.
Yeah. But let's kick things off on the kickoff show with a match between the Viking Raiders and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. This was a completely unplanned match. It was not announced until it happened. Did you check out the match, Jem?
I did not.
Don't worry about it. Went for like 3 minutes. Viking Raiders fucking decimated Ryder and Hawkins.
Of course I did.
In short, it was only there for people to be aware that they were in the building when they were involved in some shit later. It doesn't progress anything. It doesn't say anything. It was just a kickoff match. So not a lot we can really add to that right now. But the match that I thought was going to be a kickoff match but wasn't was Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak.
So on SmackDown, Drake Maverick came up to Drew Gulak and was like, "Hey, I want a shot at Daniel Bryan." And Gulak's like, "Look, Maverick, no offense, but I don't think you've got it. I've picked out all the flaws in Daniel Bryan's repertoire. Like, let's talk about number 17, his roundhouse kick." And as he's speaking, Drake Maverick sort of looks behind Drew and Daniel Bryan's there and he's like, "No, tell me, I'd like to know all the flaws in my roundhouse kick." He's like, "You know what? If you think you know so much about me, why don't you prove it at WrestleMania?" And thus this match was born.
Yeah, pretty much. So we didn't do our SmackDown this week, mostly because when we record it, Elimination Chamber had already happened. Who gives a fuck about what on SmackDown like this could happen at Chamber when it literally already happened. So
and it was an average SmackDown
it was a
as well.
pooey
It really
SmackDown
wasn't worth
too.
covering.
But yeah. So look, story-wise, this match was interesting. So the whole idea is every time Brian would try to go for one of his maneuvers, Gulak pretty much had a reversal, a response ready to rock and roll. So I did quite enjoy that. However, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that match was proper wrestling.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why the vibe was a bit where the crowd was a bit flat, just because by it being the tradition, like more technical wrestling, it should have pleased a different crowd. Where for people like us with story, and I guess the not flippy doodads, but like the more intense big spot stuff is kind of where we would sit. However, Benny in the chat, so our good friend Benny 8-Bit, he is a big fan of the more technical wrestling, like your Japan stuff over there. Even he wasn't super sold on this. He said it felt flat because there was no build. And I think that's kind of probably the biggest problem heading into this was that lack of story build. Now we have seen build in terms of Gulak's involvement with training Heath Slater, Drake Maverick wasn't in the conversation, and who was the other gentleman? I'm gonna say Apollo Crews, but it wasn't.
No,
Curtis Axel. So sort of teaching these sort of lower carders on ways to beat Daniel Bryan. So there was a mild story build up, the idea that he didn't want to be the guy, he wanted to teach someone on how to do it. But yeah, he did have to step up and get in the ring. Benny also adds a top to open it felt a bit flat to open a pay-per-view in Philly. It sucked. And that's 100% true. The crowd was a bit flat. I expected a chamber match at the front and the back. That's not what we got. So I did feel a little bit heading into the first match, but the win did go to Daniel.
Yeah,
just kind of expected.
Passed out to the yes lock. Look, what I found interesting was after the match, there was a WWE exclusive interview with Daniel Bryan. He was like, that's the wrestling that I love. That's what I love. And, Gulak really did give me a run of my money. And, I've always said he's a strong competitor, and he proved that to me. And he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to ask him for help.
Oh,
So Daniel Bryan said, you know what? He did pick out my flaws, and God damn it, I might see if he can help me with them. So I thought that was super interesting. That would be really cool to see where this progresses. I think there's something that beautiful that could progress out of it, because Drew Gulak is a phenomenal wrestler. Like when he was doing the 205 stuff, he was amazing. So.
Yeah, look, so I having not seen that backstage interview, it's a bit of a, okay, I kind of didn't really see that coming. I personally thought it may have benefited from him losing and showing that there is a weakness and he needs to work on said weakness to progress, or to return to, sort of going along the lines of the changes that he was discussing with the post-Fiend. Because post-Fiend, Daniel returned back to, that Daniel, like non-heel Daniel. But even then, it's like it's been very surface level changes. So I thought, if they did want to continue that, but I don't think that'd be the case.
There was a beautiful display of respect at the end of that match when Daniel Bryan was putting his hand out to Drew Gulak and making people chant yes for him. It was a very, very beautiful moment. You could tell Daniel Bryan really, really enjoyed that match, even though, his flaws were picked out by Gulak and combated at every turn.
And it's one of those things that, like, if he was a dedicated sort of technician, which Daniel is, and when this was presented as well, it's one of those things if you get that feedback and go, okay, cool, let's work on it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I do certainly understand why he's lining up with Gulak now to sort of get that in place. So I get that. That does make sense. Benny also points out. I'm
interested to see where it goes.
Oh, me too. So Benny also points out he also said Blood and Guts, that cheeky monkey. Blood and Guts, the name of an upcoming episode of Dynamite, which I'm personally very, very excited for. Let's pull up those notes. Now, Jem, I'll let you handle this one because I've spoken a lot so far. It was Andrade with Zelina Vega versus Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship.
I didn't care. I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit about this feud anymore. Like, it's just been dragged on and on and on, and it was just the same fucking thing, and I don't know what to say about it. Like, I really don't. Like, I didn't care. I really didn't care.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't think that with Humberto, it's tough. He's had like 11 opportunities for the United States Championship, and he has yet to even come close to winning. And that instantly makes me almost care for him less. Like, why should we be invested in him? Why should we care every time he goes for a championship match when he doesn't even come close? Now, granted, in the past, a lot of those losses have come at the hands of Zelina Vega. She wasn't super heavily involved in this one, apart from ripping up the pads at one point for to exposing the concrete. However, that was not used, thankfully, because I'm so sick of that too. It's difficult because Humberto, he isn't over at all. If anything, Angel Garza is more over than him.
Definitely.
However,
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, it was a phenomenal match. Like, people like Andrade and Humberto come from a very, like, I guess, as you call it, the flippy doodah side of wrestling. You know, they come from that lucha background. So there is a lot of theatrics involved in it. It is a big show. And they definitely put on a show. But, like, I just don't care for the story of it anymore. Like, the match was great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't care about this feud anymore. It's just null and void because, it is. It's like the umpteenth time that Humberto's gone for this and lost. Like, there has to be some point where he does take something out of it. But at this point, I don't want him to. It's kind of like move on, next chapter.
Yeah, and that, as I said, I enjoyed the match from a watching it perspective. I was like, cool, because like I'll put it out there. I do believe that Humberto has improved. I think his charisma in the ring has certainly improved. Like I find the way he just sort of works the crowd a little bit, and the way he sort of his attitude in the ring has progressed, and that I'm happy for. Like I can't argue that any day. Like, nah, you are better. However, I've also stopped caring. And the difficulty is too little, too late. Yeah, post this feud, what is he going to do?
Exactly right.
Like, it has to end with him taking the belt because Andrade has enough charm and charisma and I don't know, just being good enough that he put him in something else and we will still care. Yeah. Where Humberto does not have that. Benny also adds in the chat that Andrade was the founder of Los Ignorables. Los Ignorables. I don't know, a faction, I presume, in Lucha. What's called down there. I can't think of its name right now. In short, Andrade comes out the victor again, as we've alluded to. No surprises.
Yeah, handful of tights holds up.
CML and NJPW faction, says Benny. Oh, that's right. I remember it from. There's another Lost something in Japan. So it puts it. Look, honestly, it's putting the United States Championship in a weird spot. Like already the mid-card titles have been relatively mistreated. But I guess the IC kind of has minor stuff going on right now, but both are in kind of poo stories. And I certainly don't feel that they are being as mishandled as they were a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But I'm also not happy with their use right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a difficult place to be for that mid-card stuff. But anyways, let's get into one of the first chamber match of the night. This is the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So we did have the New Day and the Usos in the ring with Dolph and Rudolph, in one corner, Lucha House Party in one, Heavy Machinery, and
Miz and Morrison.
Morrison.
So it was, Usos and the New Day to start. As of SmackDown, there was a gauntlet match, and the winner of the gauntlet match would enter the match last.
Correct. Yeah.
Rude and Ziggler did win that gauntlet match, which means that they were guaranteed last entrance. So we knew who'd be coming out last, so it was just a matter of figuring out who was coming in between that. Big old dust fest between the Usos and the New Day. Obviously, they've had an amazing rivalry in the past, so they're the perfect team to start the match. Second out was Lucha House Party. They obviously came out to do a lot more of your bigger sort of spots and things like that, more fun, more energetic, get the crowd going type
so
stuff.
when they were announced to be part of the shot, it made sense because there's not only so many tag teams, and the Revival aren't certainly getting involved. So let's put Lucha House Party in there, and I expected them to be climbing on top of the pods and doing some stuff up there.
Oh yeah, which definitely happens. At one point, Lince Dorado is like climbing along the roof of the damn thing and like flips himself off of it onto literally everybody.
That was incredible. Only from the camera work was so good that they at no point did they even show him climbing the wall.
Yep, exactly right. So he got up. We do see him get up on one of the pods, and then you see like Heavy Machinery, like Lince.
My cam is frozen.
Find him anywhere.
Oh, thank you, thank you there, Benny. You keep chatting, I'll fix it.
Yeah, but they're like looking for Lince everywhere, and they just can't find him. And then out of nowhere, like everybody just bum rushes the ring like to attack each other, and then like Lince comes flying off the roof, and you're like, holy shit! Which was amazing. But yeah, so it was Lucha House Party out first, then Heavy Machinery, then Ruden's, it was Miz and Morrison. Where have I got it? Sorry, my brain's sticking out.
That's right.
Yeah, it was Heavy Machinery.
While you have a look at that, so Benny did also mention as well that Lince almost broke his ankles when he was flung into the cage. So he was throwing it almost feet first and saying, "Oh."
Yeah, he fell backwards and like managed to just pull himself straight up, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
It was brutal.
So it was LHP first, then Miz and Morrison, then Heavy Machinery, and then Rudolph.
So there was a time where almost all the teams were in the ring at the same time, which was really impressive. I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
was
they
it?
definitely were. Yeah, they were all in there. Yep, they were all in there because that's when Lince dropped on literally everybody.
That's right.
else.
That's everyone but Heavy Machinery, I think.
Yeah, exactly right. Which obviously Heavy Machinery have some issues with Ruda and Ziggler, with Ziggler
understandably,
egos, and he did dedicate his match. Ziggler dedicated his match to his babe Mandy.
How much does that sound like a 14-year-old's Facebook status?
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
They've been together for like 45 minutes. Oh my god, I love you so much. I love him, my life. Woo, forever. Yeah.
Exactly right. Love you forever, babe. So yeah, obviously. When Rude and Ziggler are due to come out, Heavy Machinery do stalk their cage and like try to rip them out of it, but that gets crushed by Miz and Morrison. Morrison, almost the entire match had like a big old dilemma with his boot strap coming off, which, speaking of malfunction.
Oh, we also failed to feel like, so with Morrison sort of having issue with his boot, and then we had another issue where Daniel Bryan's ball bag just kind of fell out.
Your balls are shot.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's just like, all right, ready to get suplexed? Oh, there's balls. And then...
Yeah, poor guy.
The funny thing is, the amount of times I've had conversations at work with people, because someone actually said, like, how often does like parts fall out? I'm like, very infrequently. Like, I've seen a butt come out here and there. I'm yet to see a ball bag. And you know what? This week it happened, and I feel like I've achieved something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was beautiful. Anyway, there was a big old bit there where Otis went flying after Dolph Ziggler was going to like push him through his pod, and he ends up flying out through the pod into the arena. Absolutely ridiculous. Just powered through the whole thing, through the perspex and everything.
Oh, this is Otis.
Back in the chamber. Yeah, Otis, yep. And Tucker's like, Otis, get up. And then you see him just lose his mind and he has another So on SmackDown, Otis got knocked out and Tucker basically had to run the whole gauntlet himself for most of the match.
The back end of it, yeah.
Yeah, he did it phenomenal with it. And this just sort of happened again. He just triggered and he just absolutely tried to decimate everyone.
The difficulty here, this is how camera angles are important. Let's break kayfabe for a second. That fall that Otis took, not that impressive. But from the inside of the cage angle, fuck yeah, it looked really cool. And the second they show an external angle, he kind of just fell and landed on his feet and then stumbled and was apparently unconscious. Very difficult. But I like where they were going. Yeah, but having Tucker then turn around and just be like, I'm going to go ham on you motherfuckers. And gets in a big old tumble with Miz and Morrison, which I enjoyed. But of course, it didn't go their way. So first to be eliminated was the New Day, I believe, by Heavy Machinery, wasn't it?
No, it was LHP, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'm pretty sure, I have a feeling it was the New Day, mostly because I went, oh, what? It really caught me off guard. Scotty Two Thotty is here.
Oh, hi, Scott.
I love that I've renamed him.
Yeah. So,
all right, let us quickly consult our notes.
Yeah, doesn't look like I wrote it down. Oh, yep. So it was.
Let's have see.
Eliminated, crowd loving heavy. Yeah. So Heavy Machinery eliminated Lucha House Party, and then the New Day. Ryan Ziegler, Morrison still a pin. Yep. So then it was the New Day. Mm-hmm. Then it was Heavy Machinery.
Yep. Then Rude and
Ziegler.
The Usos.
Yep. Yep. And then the Usos. Yep.
Yeah. So
Miz and Morrison retained their title.
Look, I do apologize. I had so obviously with being a day off, being a public holiday here in Victoria for the day, my son wasn't a daycare, so he was with me. So my memories of this may be a little bit jumbled. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, look, overall, I thought it was pretty cool. Sorry, Scott. Yeah. Sorry, damn you, Scott. Miz Morrison did retain.
Surprisingly.
Which was incredibly surprising. It was good. I predicted that the Usos would take the win. So I thought it was going to be Usos v New Day in the end. But it wasn't. And that really blew my mind when the New Day got eliminated. Mm-hmm. And sort of having it move, and then I was like, "Oh, wait, where's this going to go now?" And then, it was beautiful. How do you feel about this match overall and the outcome?
Look, overall, it was a great match. Obviously, there was a lot going on. It was really, really good. Wasn't too stoked on the outcome. Obviously, I don't think Miz and Morrison are championship ready. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens. Maybe something big is going to happen at WrestleMania.
The difficulty here is they've had it for a week, 2 weeks, three tops from Super Showdown, and I understand maybe they may not be quite ready to lose it. However, it's a weird line. I similar to you. I just don't think they. I think it should have gone elsewhere. So who is that? Oppo EX says hello. Hey man, how you doing? Hello. Welcome to the show. But did you overall did you enjoy the chamber match?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there were enough cool spots here, which I really enjoyed. The storytelling around the whole Tucker and the Otis and Ziggler thing was sort of a big part of the plot here. I like that it didn't end. It means it could happen more.
Definitely will.
Because one of the things I heard, the fan theories, is that perhaps there was no text message. However, in SmackDown, the commentary, they said Sonya did it. So they threw that away, so I didn't know about that. But there was a window of time where I was like, ooh, that would be so cool if there was no message. He just anxietied out. That would be a way better story than Sonya being dirty.
Yeah. Look, Otis is so over at the moment.
He is.
Like, the crowd were, like, screaming for him. So, definitely, it's not going to end anytime soon.
Yeah.
People want him.
Do you think we'll see Heavy Machinery get another title shot at Mania? Oh, my God. Imagine the pop if they take it at Mania.
That would be amazing. I think they're definitely worth it, especially because like they're proving themselves to be such strong competitors, and not just with Otis. Like they're really putting the emphasis on Tucker being an absolute machine as well. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Otis will outlast," but like clearly Otis has been knocked out twice, and Tucker's just taken the reins. So they're really making them both look super, super strong. So I definitely think Mania could be a title opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that might be the way to go. I do think come Mania. Get them another shot, and I think they will take it.
Yeah.
Exciting. I've made myself excited. Speaking of Mania, though, next up was Aleister Black versus AJ Styles in a no disqualification match. This was just a big old setup for Mania.
I think my favorite part of this match was an interview that AJ Styles did before the match. And he's talking to Caleb Braxton, I believe, and he says something about like getting disqualified, and he's like, if anybody's gonna get disqualified, it's me. Wait, what? Huh? Is that correct? Hold on, over there, and then just walk away.
Because a no DQ match, you sort of forgot mid promo.
Yeah, it was just the funniest fucking thing. Like, and just the way he got out of it was even better. Just like, what? Over there, I've got to go, and just walks away.
Oh yeah, I'm coming, and then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Benny
perfect.
did mention we forgot to mention that Tucker did also jump off the cage too, which was brilliant.
Shit. Yeah, he did. He didn't just jump. I'm pretty sure he did a flip too.
Yeah, I think it was maybe a front flip something.
Fuck, I forgot about that. That was so good. I was like, holy shit, that's like 300 pounds of man just flying through the fucking air off the top of a pod.
But
beautiful.
Yeah, so back to the no disqualification match with AJ. So the OC were ringside. However, impressively, they didn't get involved too much. They were kind of just
Not
there,
until, later.
which I really liked, because in the no DQ match, at any point they could have come in and got involved.
Yeah, the most they got involved in that match before like the end of it was they threw a kendo stick to AJ, and that was it. And I was like, I was really impressed with that. But yeah, it did get to that point towards the end of the match where like, man, like Aleister Black went through how like AJ just targeted his main leg, his stabilizing leg when he does his black
that is good wrestling storytelling right there. Like,
and that's what AJ is good at.
It's all about working that leg, like just chipping away, and every bit of attack that AJ did was focusing on that support leg, which I thought was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I was shocked, like, Aleister Black obviously, like, limping like shit. He was able to do a double knees through, like, the, what do they call it, the Meteora, through the fucking table. Like, he jumped off the announce table and put AJ Styles through another table. It was absolutely beautiful. There were some phenomenal parts in this match. Like, it's one of those ones that you do have to watch, because in the words of older J.R. Jim Ross, it was a slobber knocker.
Speaking of there was a moment in time where I was like, holy fuck, Aleister Black just became The Undertaker.
Yeah, that happened. So,
so
AJ
in short,
and the OC
Gong. Sorry, you go ahead. What was it? Sorry?
I was going to say, like, AJ and the OC start bashing up.
Yes.
Yeah, they gang up on Aleister Black, and then, Gong, venue goes black. Suddenly the Undertaker's there, and he's got both Anderson and Gallows by the throat. Slams them, and then AJ goes to he throws them, because AJ goes to phenomenal forearm him from behind, and Taker just catches him, drops him, then disappears again, and then Aleister Black was able to capitalize with a black mass and get the win.
See, what I loved was, so Aleister was standing there, cut to black, Undertaker's there, and the way the angle, you couldn't see Black. I'm like, holy fuck, are they gonna do some story? Are they gonna do some minor story where AJ believes that that's the Taker? Like, you know, it's a vision, and then it cuts back, and Aleister Black standing where Taker was. If that happened, holy shit, would I probably have pissed my pants? But instead, boom, cut to Black, and Aleister's lying slightly to the left. I was like, oh, damn it, man. I wish they did that. That'd have been so cool. However, I understand why they didn't, because he's not an illusion. He's a fucking person. But
yeah, but still.
oh,
cool.
gong! Mad Dog appears in chat. I love that. How we guys, did we end up live streaming? No, we didn't end up live streaming the actual reactions. So Jem had feeling a bit under the weather, and she did the nice thing with my son being a younger person, not exposing him to some potential sickness, because kids, as we know, are just petri dishes, and we try to not have him sick.
Yeah, I don't want to pass anything on to anyone.
But yeah, so look, I've frozen again on camera. This hasn't happened for yonks, and then now it's suddenly happening again. The irony is that I looked yesterday. I went, I'm really glad that hasn't broken in a little while. And there we go. But you know one thing I meant. I think the only reason that they're having this storyline into Mania and Jem, I think I know what it is. It's just phenomenal. That's it.
Yeah.
Why else would they put them together? That's it.
Well, I'm just going to lift the kayfabe for a second. Undertaker has said multiple times that he believes AJ is like a ridiculously good star, and he's wanted to face him for a long time. So it's basically just Undertaker saying, hey, I want this, and WWE going, here, have money.
In the same way that Brock's like, I want Drew.
Yep, exactly right. So, it's something that's been coming for a long time. I'm excited to see it, especially because they want to face one another. So I think that's what's going to make one hell of a good match.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I do think it'll be. It should be interesting to see how they go. There was a good promo on Raw. I haven't watched Raw yet, but I did see a snip of AJ just kind of like tearing into both Taker and Michelle McCool, which is interesting.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the whole
I'm very keen for Raw, actually.
Yeah. It should be good.
But yeah.
I saw a photo. Somebody was like, give us what we want. And it was like AJ Styles, Michelle McCool, and the WrestleMania logo. I was like, hell yeah.
Next up was the Raw Tag Team Championship, where we had the Street Profits versus the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, and Budday Murphy.
Yeah, the Monday Night Murphy.
The AOP were involved. They were up on the walkway, I think.
Yeah, so AOP did come down to the ring actually, and they were sent on either side of the ring during the match. And they didn't get involved too early. I think, it got to that point where Seth Rollins was like, I'm desperate. Got the AOP. Yeah, he distracted a referee and got the AOP.
Yeah, the ref against the ropes, and then did like a hey.
Yep, which he did on Raw as well.
That's right. So I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, so Viking. No, it happened there as well.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, so it happened on both. And then, all of a sudden you hear dun dun dun, and the Viking Raiders come sprinting down and just absolutely decimate AOP, and like they disappear. And then shortly after, big old spotlights coming through the crowd. You just see KO walking down the walkway with popcorn, just eating as he's walking down the walk, down the
like
stairs.
An extra large popcorn. It was huge.
Yeah, it was huge. And he just jumps the barrier and sits down on the announce desk. He's just eating this popcorn, and Seth Rollins starts yelling at him. He just throws popcorn at Seth, and the Street Profits end up using this to get the win. My
favorite thing about having Kevin on the side here, so he's sitting on the German announce table. The Spanish announce table. And Seth comes out to approach him, and Seth's yelling at Kev, not giving a shit. Kev just points, goes there. Bush! Dawkins just fucks him up.
Throws popcorn at him, then he's like, hey, look. And
but it's just hey. He literally telegraphed it, and Seth still got fucking decked. It was brilliant.
Yeah, beautiful. The Street Profits do use this to, Seth gets wrecked. They get the pin on Murphy. For the win, and then Murphy's like out on the side of the ring, and Seth is in the ring over the ropes like, what happened to you? And he's yelling and screaming, and all of a sudden KO just sort of comes in, pops his popcorn down in the corner. Seth turns around, gets stunned, and he just picks up his popcorn and just leaves with it.
Oh, and sprinkles a little bit on Murphy as well. One thing of note, though, so during this scuffle in the ring, Murphy looks Buddy looks over at Seth, and he's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like, is the power of the Messiah that strong that it's actually made Buddy go backwards?
Who knows?
That's one of those things like, I need your guidance because it's that thing of I couldn't get the wins prior. Obviously being an X205 champion, like he does know what he's doing. But then it's that once he had those strings of losses to Aleister Black and then being involved with the Messiah, maybe that's the thing.
He's lost his way and Seth's the guide.
I think that's certainly because he had those losses, was under the wing of the Messiah, and then proceeds to get the championship, and then now he's questioning himself.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I am curious to see where this goes in Raw today, whether it gets addressed.
Yeah.
But that does mean the Street Profits do retain, as you mentioned. So presumably, I'm putting it out there, AOP v Street Profits at Mania.
Ooh.
Yeah. V Viking Raiders, triple threat.
Oh, maybe. I definitely.
And Kevin and Joe, if he's cleared, before big four-way.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think there's going to be something between Seth and KO at Mania.
Okay.
And then I think or it may even be Seth and Murphy, KO and Joe. Who knows? But I definitely think I think a triple threat for the tag team titles would be, and I see at Mania AOP walking away with the belt.
Yeah, so having two face teams versus the heel AOP and then AOP wreck them both would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and it'll make them look super powerful. So.
So match was alright. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Montez Ford is charming as a motherfucker. Like he's so good.
He's so good.
Even just that sort of little promo they did in the gorilla position was just cool. Just good.
So good.
Next up, Intercontinental Championship match. Braun Strowman in a 1-on-3 handicap match against Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn for that championship.
Yeah, this was another one I really sort of didn't care about
I agree.
At this point. I didn't give a shit. I kind of zoned out during the match, and then all of a sudden Sami Zayn was holding the title, and I was like, oh. Okay.
So prior to them coming into the ring, we'll get to that in a sec, Benny. So we'll get to it now. Benny's asking, what's with the "We Want Smoke" chants? So the slogan of the AOP is they want the smoke, and it's sort of implied like it's a fight. It's the same way that in a cartoon when they biff and it becomes a big cloud of smoke, that's the smoke. It also sounds like they're wanting a
420 blaze it.
420 blaze it. But no, it is about they want to fight.
Yeah. They want to fight. Yeah.
So prior to entering the arena, Sami Zayn's having a chat with Cesaro and Shinsuke in I think it was an interview, and he's like, "Look, can you guys leave it up to me? I want to get in there. I'm going to make it happen." So.
And then he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He stole the win.
So, in short, what the entire match was along the lines of Sami Zayn taking advantage. So, he would tag in Cesaro. Cesaro would get the work done. Sami would turn back in, get a couple shots in, head back out, tag in Nakamura. Nakamura comes in, does the same, comes out. So, it's totally a dirty win, but it's a smart win.
Yeah. It kind of bums me out though, because I was recently watching a video of Sami Zayn as El Generico facing the 1-2-3 Kid, and it was ridiculously good. Sami can fucking wrestle.
I think he's injured.
But yeah,
there's got to be a reason he's not wrestled for the longest time.
Yeah, and it's bumming me out because he's so good. I'd love to see him wrestle again.
Saying that though. This is Sami Zayn's first ever singles win on the main roster.
Interesting.
So that includes mid-card titles, from my understanding. That includes main titles. He was NXT champion at one point. However, his first belt on main. Now, I know Benny, if I remember right, was a big fan of Sami Zayn. So I'm very curious to see what his chances, what his thoughts on this would be. He goes, go check out Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura at TakeOver Dallas.
Ooh.
I presume that would be a banger, so I'd be keen to go check that out. One thing I've been wanting to do actually, is I know I've mentioned this a couple of times, is go back and watch old takeovers Because with the idea of there's never been a bad takeover, I think everyone will be brilliant. And it'd be great to sort of see where pretty much 90% of the roster now came from.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so what's your stance, Jim? Apart from being bored, as you mentioned, but in terms of the result, what do you see?
I find it interesting. I was not expecting Sami Zayn to take the title. I was expecting Braun Strowman to retain. So yeah, I don't know. This is really throwing a spanner in the works, and I don't know where it's going to go. So it really
sucks for Braun again. That's my big problem is that Braun has been shafted again. I personally thought Cesaro was going to take it, because with the discussions around Sheamus being interested in the Intercontinental Championship, I thought that would be awesome to watch, the previous bar battle it out, Mania, Intercontinental Championship, fuck yeah. And Cesaro can take that L like he does because he's a good worker, and that would be a good, safe way to get Sheamus on the belt. That's how I saw it happening. But that's not what happened, which sucks. Because that would be good storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Benny also adds Sammy and Shin was the best. Was also Shinsuke's debut at NXT. It also best of 3 match against Samoa Joe in the lead up to Dallas for Sami Zayn. So there you go, a couple of Sami Zayn matches for you to go check out. Alrighty, but yeah, look, I don't know what this means for Braun. I'm sure Braun has some other celebrity bullshit match. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I presume Tyson Fury's maybe coming back.
Maybe.
Because the big stipulation was that if Tyson Fury didn't win his match in Feb, he wouldn't come back. But he did win it, so it's very possible that he's coming back. And finally, the Women's Elimination Chamber match. We had Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Sarah Logan, Natalya, Liv Morgan, and Ruby Riott.
Yeah. So starting the match was Natalya and Ruby Riott, which I thought was interesting. I was expecting it to be like Ruby and Sarah, or Liv and Sarah, or Liv and Ruby. So yeah, it was really interesting. One thing I did love was like Natalya was like smashing Sarah Logan into the Ruby into the cage, and she's like, "You like that, Liv?" And you hear Liv go, "Yeah, I like it." And then Natalya's like, "That's gonna be you," and you hear Liv go, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, I watched that clip like 9 times. Just on loop. I'm like, yep. I thought it was fucking brilliant.
Yep. You like that?
Fuck.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be you. Oh fuck! Like, just the way she says it is just so. I love Liv Morgan. She's the cutest. Like, it was so good. She was so emotional during that whole thing. It was beautiful. But yeah. So Sarah Logan's out of the pause first. And yeah, she does a bit of a does down. And then Shayna Baszler comes out and literally
Shayna Baszler
just comes out.
You cut out for a second, so it sounded like Shayla.
No, Shayna Baszler. But yeah, she wrecks everyone. Like, she was smashing Liv into doors and fences, and it's just like that. Within a minute, she took out Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan.
All by clutch.
Yeah. All by clutch, exactly right. Both of them tapped out, I believe.
So Sarah passed out. Ruby tapped out in like fucking seconds.
In seconds, yep, exactly right. No, Sarah Logan tapped and so did Ruby, and then Natalya was I'm pretty sure Natalya was knocked out.
Oh. Either way, someone was fucking unconscious. I remember that much. But in short, scuffle, which was brilliant. Shayna literally hung Liv Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Standing on the turnbuckle, in the choke,
facing Asuka,
just hanging her. And it was brutal. And that was just after she proceeded to blow her fucking face into not just the chain wall, but also the pod wall. Like, hard.
Yeah, real hard. Like, Liv was like crying afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was absolutely like Shayna Baszler was vicious. Like, there was a whole like, because she took everybody out in like a minute. She was standing there for a solid 3 to 4 minutes just waiting for the next pod to open. which was Liv Morgan's. And then same with Asuka. Like, she got Liv Morgan out so quickly that she still had to wait a couple of minutes for Asuka, and they're just like taunting each other.
I did enjoy that, and there was
beautiful.
Asuka just mucking, doing the whole pretend kissy thing, just like getting right up, and like Shayna broke at one point and started giggling.
But the whole thing was so good. Like, that was exactly what I wanted to see from Shayna Baszler. Like, I knew that she was gonna absolutely clean fucking house, and my god, like, she's taking that title from Becky.
Oh yeah, well, because that's that one
100%.
thing. So as we discussed in last week, with apart from it almost being the entire story of Rocky 3, Becky is confident. Like, she's arrogant. She's overconfident, and that will be her downfall.
Yeah.
You know,
And Asuka was a perfect example of that. Like, Becky's gonna be taunting her the way that Asuka was taunting Shayna. Like, Becky's gonna be, it's gonna fall exactly the same way. Like I said, like, 3 of them tapped and the other 2 like passed out. So, yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see. I definitely think that I think she's probably going to like fully, properly like just pass Becky out. Like, she's going to like properly like knock her out.
I think that would be amazing, actually.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll see Becky disappear for a little while, and then.
Being essentially the face of the company for the longest time, it's probably within her best interest to take the time away and relax.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, look, overall, what did you think of the chamber match?
And Becky was watching the match the entire time.
She was, correctly. A lot on weird angle too, which is much appreciated.
Yep, exactly right. Look, honestly, the women's was probably my favorite match out of all of them. Mm-hmm. I think, even though it was like quicker than every other match, like it probably was the quickest match of the night, it was still absolutely ridiculously phenomenal. Like, I love seeing how strong Shayna Baszler is, and I know I'm supposed to hate her, but I am absolutely gunning for her at Mania. Like, she's doing it well, like nobody else likes her. I think she's fucking grouse, and she is exactly what we needed in an opponent for Becky, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this.
My issue with this match specifically was we knew the outcome. We knew where this was going. There was no pretense that Shayna was going to not, she was going to walk out the winner. Like, just cool.
Oh,
it was kind of incredibly expected. So I do think that's... Benny also mentions in the chat that the Philly crowd was meanwhile walking out of the building during the main event. And that makes sense because... The second we saw that sort of like that clean house moment, everyone's like, all right, I know where this is going. And they start making their way out. Because, beat that traffic, get that car park or whatever. So that makes sense. I was a little disappointed. If anything, it just showed, because there was this rumor mill on the dirt sheets that they weren't hot on Shayna Baszler anymore. That she may not win the thing. That was a fucking work the whole time, because that was a little made up rumor thingy to get people to watch. Period. If there was a possibility, like, okay, it's not predictable, I'm in. Which is using that exact same issue of predictability, I am incredibly glad they changed the other chamber match to not be one for the Universal Championship opportunity, because that would have been, that's Roman and that's Shayna. All right, done. The 2 big cell matches of the night, uneventful. Now, granted, they were still uneventful-ish in terms of the outcome, but both matches went all right. There was a lot of, for us being really focused on the storytelling of it all, a lot of story was delivered in that women's chamber match. Just showing Shayna to be this unrelenting force with that, be that submission magician, which I'm, dumb, but I get it. Like, she's just choking out everyone. So rather than just where she could have just punched them till they can't breathe anymore, she instead decides to choke them so they don't breathe anymore. And I think from a storytelling perspective, that was probably the correct way to go about it, because it makes it look fucking brutal.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's very reminiscent, obviously, of the Coquina Clutch, and that's like Joe's powerhouse.
Yep.
Like, he'll take anybody out with it, and it's really awesome to see that somebody like Shayna Baszler can use something so vicious to get a win.
Because other than it just being a cool submission, it demonstrates power. Like, you get someone in a position of vulnerability and you literally choke them till they fall asleep. So in a kayfabe move, then yeah, like it's actually really quite clever because with all this hubris that Becky's got, I'm untouchable. Like an actual fist fight wouldn't be enough. Like that is that break of that cockiness. Like I can't touch you. How about now? And I've got you in a lock. I've got you close to me, and I'm taking the win.
Yeah. But in saying that, Becky saw consistently how she executes that look. So it's a case of like Becky can target that and learn how to combat that. And maybe she can, not let that happen.
That is very possible. So I think with, as you mentioned, that may have it go longer, the match go longer as Becky sort of understands and watches and monitors. But to add to what we discussed before, like with Becky as a character, the change that's happened recently stems from Asuka. So the idea that Asuka was the one thing that she was never able to beat. Since becoming the man, Asuka was the one, weakness in her arsenal. Getting that win at Royal Rumble, yes. That then put that hubris in Becky. So she had no interest in and that's going to be the problem here. And because Shayna comes in, but she's got cockiness as well. So it is that bit of that arrogance versus confidence, this weird sort of line, I guess. How do you see that going with confidence versus over with arrogance?
It's tricky. Arrogance. So confidence is being sure of yourself, and arrogance is, it's a compensation essentially. It's basically saying I'm the best, but not actually being the best, in my opinion. So I definitely think there's a huge weakness in the arrogance versus confidence. Obviously Becky's feels like she's on top of the world, but that's going to be her downfall. Yeah, for sure.
So Benny in the chat also mentioned, who else in the match could have gone against Becky though? None of them. Yeah, Asuka, and he mentioned Asuka had her opportunity and the rest have no credibility. The one issue that I do have with this in terms of the storytelling of this match was that, yes, we knew that Shayna was going to win. Cool. However, I thought they should have put Shayna to come out later. Only because I was expecting some story build up between the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
That's what the focus should have been on, the three of them sort of getting some work, getting some stuff going, so that come Mania or even come Raw, there's more for them to do.
Yeah.
But however, we get to see that as Shayna proceeded to choke out the other two people. But in the chat goes, AJ better beat that old man Taker. And Paul James comes in and goes, yeah, wrestling, noogies and shit.
Who said that, sorry?
Paul James.
Oh.
But anyway, that does bring us to the back end of the final part. So, overall, what did you think of the pay-per-view, Jem, while I pull up the dirt sheet?
Look, overall it was pretty good. I'd probably call it straight down the line and give it a Kurt.
I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't super sold on it at all. I watched it and I felt almost no emotion. I was neither mad nor amplified. I was just pfft. So I'm gonna go a bar. It's a 25 out of 100 for me. It's one. It just didn't deliver. Having it be mostly mid cards, and tag titles, it meant nothing overall, quote unquote. But even then, the issue that we would have would be if we had the Universal Championship here, if we had the WWE Championship here, we would know the outcomes even more. It would make the pay-per-view actually worse. So credit to them for not making it super predictable.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Anyway, let's wrap the show up with our good friend Dash. He goes over the internet, finds some stuff, sends it our way and goes, here is the backstage information you need to know in a section we call Dish in the Dirt with Dirt Sheet Dash. The first one is, as we mentioned, Daniel Bryan's ball bag.
Daniel Bryan.
He goes, Daniel Bryan suffered a wardrobe malfunction during his Elimination Chamber match against Drew Gulak when his testicles fell out of his tights on 2 occasions. I just wanted you to say Daniel Bryan's ball sack. I would have done it anyway. Another interesting one, WWE versus the coronavirus. The PW Insider is reporting that WWE had a no-touching rule at signings over the weekend due to coronavirus concerns. Sasha Banks was seen at an event wearing gloves, and Braun Strowman was doing fist bumps, but nothing else. This is a real concern as the coronavirus is becoming more and more a prominent thing. Now, I feel I'm talking about the coronavirus fucking everywhere. Every show I've done for the last 2 months, it feels like I am only addressing coronavirus. And I'm kind of bored of talking about it, but it's incredibly important. It's understandable. Especially when the idea of 80,000, 90,000 people in a venue for WrestleMania, 100% a massive concern. So just because the spreadability of that is gross, and I understand why these superstars need to keep an additional level of protection.
Yeah, they've got to keep themselves healthy coming into that.
Because even in my day job, right? Because I see 100 different clients a week. We have to now change our procedures. I can't fist bump or high five clients anymore. There's things that we need to change just out of. There's no concern here in Geelong, but it's just more of a practice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, thankfully I work in a job that it's all about sterility. So
you should be fine.
Yep, and we have warnings all over the studio because we do have a staff member who's immunocompromised. If you are sick, you can't be around our studio for 2 weeks, after.
All right. Speaking of WrestleMania, Jem, Dash got WrestleMania to go as long as 10 hours.
Oh, Christ.
I got the day off. I'm ready to go. WrestleMania is expected to go as long as 10 hours this year, as the title says. With that, a total of 19 matches are expected to be announced. Here is what Dash has heard is being planned. So as we know, WWE title, Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Universal title, Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Raw title, Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler.
Yes.
NXT women's title, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena.
Yeah.
Undertaker versus AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Edge versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Of course, we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Then there's the Not So Fabulous Moolah Women's Battle Royal. The WWE Women's Tag Team titles for Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa and Nikki versus Natty and Beth Phoenix. Then the SmackDown Women's title, which would be a 6-way. Bayley versus Naomi versus Carmella versus Sasha versus Lacey versus a to be announced.
Oh, wow.
WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles, Miz and Morrison versus TBA, but as we're pretty confident it's going to be Heavy Machinery. Raw Tag Team titles, Street Profits versus TBA, which we are safe to presume that it will be the AOP. United States title, Andrade versus TBA. We're not sure on that one yet. And IC title, Sami Zayn versus an unconfirmed.
Interesting.
Holy shit, that is so many matches. That is an almost dumb amount of matches.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, that does bring us to the end of the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this Elimination Chamber special. This is, this is a special episode that you get once a month. If you want our regular wrestling podcast, you can head over on Tuesday mornings, 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes for our SmackDown in review, Thursdays for our Raw in review. But if you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to our social medias. That's facebook.com/groups/thepopculturist, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, all those links in the down below area. One thing we'd like you to do, if you do like this conversation, please tell your friends, tell your family, go, hey, there's a wrestling podcast that we think you might like. Please go check it out. Give it a star rating or a written review on your podcast services. It'd be much appreciated. If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can join the conversation just like Benny did, just like Buddy did, just like Dash did, just like Paul did for a minute. Then we had a Mad Dog in there as well. It was a good bit of fun. And so we can also listen to our other show for the players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation Podcast, here on Twitch as well. If you want to support us financially, patreon.com/popculturist, buy our merch, popculturist.com/shop, buy shirts, other sort of shit with our logos on it. Thank you very much for joining us this week. I'm Ryan Betson, and we'll see you then. The Young and the Restless, the Pop Culturist WWE podcast, is fan support over at Patreon at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.